Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the mind of that Terry's Mill. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, I'm going to explain to y'all how to pull from the etheric realm. So right now, we about to get into some Flight Tesla shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, Flight Tesla, he taught y'all something that y'all thought was brand new. But like he said, he discovered math. You see what I'm saying? He discovered it. He didn't author it. He didn't make it up. So for the most part, we want to understand how to derive things. So what I'm getting ready to explain to you right now, and it ain't discovering nothing. This is actually what life is, what you already been doing as a goddamn spirit. So keep that in mind. So this is how to pull from the etheric realm, how to pull from the 369 to understand what numbers are ruled by 369 while looking at 369 as a substance and not a number. You see what I'm saying? So once we start to look at certain numbers, remember when I told y'all when you look at the 3 of something, AKA, you see both sides, the yin and yang of something. And then you actually see the space. Once you add that third energy to it, you see the space where the yin and yang is derived from. The both spectrums, the both outlooks of that circumstance. You see where it's derived from in the first place. And once you see where something is derived from, you can see if it's uneven, unbalanced, unscaled. You can see if you was on each polar shift of the motherfucker shit. And then you will be able to take that into a new area and be able to change that whole shape and form, or have enough wisdom and knowledge to know how to cater to each spectrum so it don't outweigh you in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind. Now, so here's the thing. When we talking about charges, 369, right? Now, Tesla, he taught y'all about doubling and things of that nature, but you need to know that these are just systems. So you also have a system of tripling. So here's where we get into Flight Tesla, right? So here's the thing, right? When we start to talk about tripling, here's how you start to understand each essence of a motherfucking number and things of that nature. For an example, right? 1. What is 1? I told y'all in Gematria, when one thing is something that becomes whole. So the essence of oneness, something has to become whole. It has to be a spirit, which is a space, and it has to create things within that space, which is oneness and the ability to relate that oneness. And once that's 1 and 2, and once it do that, it could have awareness of that circumference that space is in. And then here's where you get 0, 1, 2, but that's when you get 3 objects. You see what I'm saying? When 2 versions of one thing come together to create another thing. So we know 0 is no thing, no shape and form. It's your spirit, your space. So once it create individuality, that's one-dimensional. Then relate that individuality, that's 2-dimensional, creating a frequency, a line, before it start to vibrate as a circle in that 3rd dimension. Then here's where you get 1 and 2. But y'all looking at it as 1 and 2 like that. But really it's just 2 versions of one object, a masculine and a feminine. You see what I'm saying? Coming from a 0 circumference. Now once that 0 circumference become aware of that 1 and that 2, that becomes an awareness in itself. That 3, wholeness. You know what I'm saying? Something becoming complete. 2 objects coming together to create a new energy that's a shape and form that becomes complete. So, for an example, right? Here's how you know the backdrop of it. So, for an example, when you got 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's 3, right? Then when you go, say y'all want to get into y'all math, right? Instead of saying 2, you do, in Gematria, it's a version. 2 is one thing. See what I'm saying? See, y'all get lost into math and sometimes numerology, where they all differ in certain ways. So when you talk about Gematria, this is the energy behind it. So 2 is an essence by itself. 2 is just relating. You see what I'm saying? And that's the numerology aspect of it. But when you talk about 2, right? That's just relating. So let's put 3 versions of 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's 6. Boom. Then you get into what? 3 plus 3 plus 3. That's 9. You see what I'm saying? Now, when you get into, let's start over. 4. 4 plus 4 plus. Now, when I told y'all, 1 is masculine, 2 is feminine, 3 is wholeness. You see what I'm saying? So it's always going to participate. 1, 4, and 7 is correlated, masculine. 2, 5, 8 is correlated, feminine. 3, 6, 9 is correlated, the wholeness of these realms of realities. You see what I'm saying? So you kind of look at it like one-dimensional. Damn, yeah, so the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension is down here. 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension is like internal. So you can say it's up there, because that's really, it's inside, it's up there, but that's like purgatory, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. So the 4th dimension is the masculine, thought forms and ideas. 5th dimension is the emotions and feelings you're able to receive. And then when we pay that a lot of attention, give it a lot of attention, that's the joining of 2 energies to create another one. We actually externalize it and create the second coming, the actual light form that represent that vibration and frequency. That frequency Fourth dimension, thought, form, and idea, and that feeling and emotion, the vibration that we was concentrating on, paying it a lot of attention, and now we can actually see the shape and form to experience it in some way, shape, or form as a body of water or light spectrum. That's sixth dimension, right? Then you got the seventh, eighth, and ninth dimension. It's the sky that's not made up yet. So for the most part, it's them in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, spirits that's in the shapes and forms in constellational bodies, them trying to make up the sky. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to be aware. They're trying to think and come up with feelings and emotions to create stars to ascend there. But they have to shed a lot of their desires. You see what I'm saying? Before they can ascend, aka lighten their spiritual load. So that's why they're stuck in purgatory, because a lot of their light forms that they're stuck in, the thoughts and the feelings and emotions, mimic the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. Remind you, the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension was once the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. Once all those spirits that was living have died and ascended, they have experience. So those spirits spiral is expanded and contracted larger than yours. So they're just creating another shape or form, another body, and think that they're living just another life like how you living right now. But since their spirits is bigger, they by default, since you're after them, by default, their 1, 2, and 3rd dimension become our version of what we can explain as 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And since we're spirits after the fact, we're smaller spirits, so we can only live through them. So we are experiencing life after they have already experienced this space. Do you get what I'm saying? So our 1, 2, and 3rd dimension was once their 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, which they still think they're living. But it's just more awareness, more expansion. And we're just experiencing more limited version of the realm of reality that we are in. If you get what I'm saying. So you see what I'm saying? So this becomes why they're stuck in purgatory and having to make up their sky, which is the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension, and we're in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, having to make up our sky, the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. So when we're looking up at the stars and shit like that, we're looking up at these beings' chakras, because we live within them. So we're looking at their thought forms and feelings and emotions, and then we receive these thought forms and feelings and emotions and play them out as far as creating our versions of these things, aka that's why we see the sky the way we see it. And in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, spirits that's in those bodies see the sky that they see it. You see what I'm saying? So you can almost even equate it to vehicles that you could take with each dimensional body. For an example, right? In the 1 dimension, right? That's you taking air, a breath type of vehicle, a molecule, and something like that. Something that's very one-dimensional, right? So your conscious level may be very primitive at that stage. You see what I'm saying? So that's you taking a shape or form, a light spectrum within and after you coming from a spirit, within a spirit that's in a space that created lights before you. You see what I'm saying? 2nd dimension, your ability to relate that with another version in some way, shape, or form. 3rd dimension, right? That's you becoming whole, becoming an actual organism, right? 4th dimension, that's you becoming like a oversoul. You know what I'm saying? Your thought form carries a lot of ideas. 5th dimension, right? That's you becoming like a overlord of souls. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, that's you like becoming a planetary energy. You're no longer just a cloud. A 4th dimension, that's you that's you taking a cloud kind of vehicle. You're light in frequency, so you could play out as a light spectrum, a light ray. But in that realm of reality, it's a life that's just like here. That's what y'all need to understand. Y'all get lost into the concept of just because you're not in that density level, high or low, you can't fathom the kind of life that your spirit will live through, taking an emoji, creating a dense form in that. You see what I'm saying? So you need to know life always going to be experienced as expiration or an existence, something to exit. So it's going to be like this, just based upon how it's perceived and how much perception you got and what you can do with that emoji. You know what I'm saying? That light spectrum. So, you know what I'm saying? The 4th dimension, once you leave this vehicle, you could take a lighter spectrum. You take like a cloud vehicle. That's like an oversoul, overlord vehicle. It's like a planet. So you become so much of a cloud that light spectrum becomes heavy enough to be a big body of water. A big chakra, that's a planet. You'll be a supporting cast. That's like a 5th dimensional vehicle. A woman, you know what I'm saying? Like a moon, or receiving energy. You know what I'm saying? You receive from once that become whole, and then that's the 6th dimensional energy. Is back masculine again, but completing the masculine and the feminine. So a 6th dimensional vehicle will be you taking like a sun, a star, you know what I'm saying, a solar plexus during that period of time. So you're no longer a planet, you could be a star. You know what I'm saying? You know how to push off energy and receive energy. So when you hear scientists say things like hydrogen and helium, helium is a form of feminine energy, receiving, woman, Eve, and hydrogen is a form of masculine, pushing out, fire, atom. You see what I'm saying? So just keep that concept. It's all charges. They just got different names for it because it's all about about learning different spectrums of light. From religious people, Holy Ghost, from scientist people, the Higgs boson and dark matter. They're just trying to understand different frequencies of light. Some is light in spectrum, light in mass. Some is heavy in spectrum, heavy in mass, where we got density levels and we can pinpoint certain things, how it's rotating in a routine to understand certain patterns. When things slow down in vibration and move slow enough that we can track the patterns of it. You see what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying, a seventh dimension, right? That's you taking the whole solar system. So you're taking the solar plexus and you're taking the planetary travel. So you're being aware of more of yourself, basically. So you can take one of those vehicles. It's all about awareness as a spirit. But once you become lost in your awareness, that's being Luciferian. You know what I'm saying? But we're not gonna get there right there, because we live in the motherfucking light bearer. You know what I'm saying? That's another video. Eighth dimension, you could take a galactic body, you know what I'm saying? So you could be like Galactus on Marvel Comics or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? So that's you being more aware of yourself. You're being more aware of how much shit that you are in some way, shape, or form. So you are individual. You're not everything as in I'm you, me. You're everything as everything you're creating. See what I'm saying? So you're still an individual within your space. And here's where we talk about 6 was scared of 7, because 7, 8, 9 or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But this getting you into circumstances of organisms always going to find something to eat. It's this nature. So for the most part, y'all get scared of one animal eating another animal, then you think you ain't supposed to eat another animal, but then you got motherfucking black holes and galaxies sucking in other motherfucking star constellations and shit. So it's starting to get you the concept of understanding that when we talk about powers, this is about the energy of creating light forms, ideas, and feelings. And then once you get lost in one and concentrate so much on it, it becomes a realm of reality that's so solid and low vibrational, you care that it don't get destroyed in some way, shape, or form. And regardless of how it appear to be in your realm of reality, that's you lost into the world, or you lost into some type of form. So you'll never be able to ascend truly once we really start to get into spiritual natures, when we start to talk about being one of a kind. That's another video. But like I said, 8 is when you spend a lot of time in the shit, so you're a whole galaxy and shit like that. So you need a whole lot of energy. You need a whole lot of thought forms and feelings. So you need to be every thought form and feeling in your motion, right? And then you got 9. This is universal. So you can become a universal being. You're universally complete. 9 means complete wisdom about yourself. You could become one of a kind. Once as a spirit, you're in that sky. So you know that you're no thing, no shape and form. But for the most part, you could create a shape or form at will and willing to destroy it, and don't get detached at anything in any shape or form, right? So for the most part, it's like you can choose to jump into someone's realm of reality, or you can choose to be in your own, and creation is like nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing to you. It's like nothing to you. Like when you say that metaphor down here, when you could do something real easy, you like, it's like nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole different video. But like I said, when we get into the concept of understanding triplicities, this is understanding the Trinity and things of that nature. When you are a spirit that's trying to handle your yin and yang, and once that double up, everything has a yin and yang. So your feminine energy has a yin and yang, your masculine energy has a yin and yang. So that makes the 4, right? That's why you're gonna hear a lot of concepts of 4 plus 4, that's 8, putting a lot of time. But that's just you having wings. You're flying in your space right now, and as a spirit, right, you're correlating those 4 energies, right? You're correlating those 4 energies. So this makes you a star. You know what I'm saying? This makes you be able to revolve around your energies and have be more balanced when you get lower in realms of reality. You see what I'm saying? Or try to ascend. But for the most part, like I said, 4 plus 4, it starts over. You know what I'm saying? 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's 3, because it's like 12. You know what I'm saying? 5 plus 5 plus 5. That's 6. 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's 9. 7 plus 7 plus 7, that's 3. 8 plus 8 plus 8, that's 6. 9 plus 9 plus 9, that's 9 again. You see what I'm saying? 10 plus 10 plus 10, that's 3. 11 plus 11 plus 11, that's 6. You see what I'm saying? 12 plus 12 plus 12, that's 9. You see what I'm saying? You can do the numerology right now. And I want to make sure I'm talking on my ass. You know what I'm saying? 12 plus 12 plus 12. You know what I'm saying? 36. You know what I'm saying? 3 plus 6, that's 9. You know what I'm saying? So then it's gonna motherfucking start over. 13 plus 13 plus 13. You know what I'm saying? That's 3. So we're gonna see if that's true. See what I'm saying? What you busy? So 3 plus 9, what is that? 12. That break it down. What is 12? 1 plus 2, That's 3. So that's getting you to understand the essence. And you can keep going on and on and on all the way till you get to 666. And that's letting you know how many constellations, how many versions. Versions is us going into a new space, a new area. Then once we create a state of awareness in that space, that's creating a degree, a day, a light spectrum, something we can track to understand our awareness and things of that nature. Then once we do that, if we did what I'm just breaking down, right, in number system, that let you know how many constellations it took for us and how many ideas and feelings and emotions it took for us to create this vehicle. That's why I take as many blood cells and so many organs in you to be a spirit to control the solar plexus, Merkaba, and the space, and all your other vehicles for you to become whole here. Because we didn't got lost in so many goddamn desires. This is a very low vibrational realm of reality that we are in at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. So when you hear things like 666, and then when you hear it's like God is your light. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's what it's trying to say. God is a light, is your light for the most part. So Jesus is your light. Everyone has Jesus within them, a solar plexus within them. So when you hear a 7 and things of that nature, that's us trying to create a higher version, getting out of our lower desires, purgatory, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional energies, right? So when we talk about 7 is you trying to create an arch to rise above that, aka it's still a light form, but you created a first light that's higher than the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. So you created a numinal, you created a spectrum in the sky that we're trying to create, the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension. So you got a higher idea than getting lost into a desire that manifests you being in a spirit into a body in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. You see what I'm saying? So desires is the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, thought forms and feelings and things of that nature that can become whole. And then once you got a higher idea about that, let's talk about 7. So we have a spirit that's trying to ascend down here in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, but since these spirits are now in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension in vehicles like Mary and all that shit like that, and Orion and shit right now, right, the story gonna seem supernatural to you. So it's gonna seem like that they're ascending in a place that you're not ascending, but you're going based upon whatever that they're telling you that they're going. So if you follow one of these religions, you're gonna lead right down to that kind of circumstance or situation. But it's just basically trying to tell you that someone risen above their lower animalistic nature. So they became higher than 3D. So they took a higher light. So they ascended into a higher light. They became a light spectrum. You see what I'm saying? So don't let no religious people get you lost anyway, because you know that's when the person became first alien light. That's why you might hear things like, is God an alien or Jesus an alien? Because they had a 4th dimensional aspect. They start giving names and titles. So here's where you get the Hebrew language and things of that nature, or the ancient text, Hebrew text or shit like that. But for the most part, it's just putting you into circumstances of understanding that these are the first creations of how we start to correlate and manifesting and put structures together. You know what I'm saying? But it starts from a mental realm first, from a light spectrum. And we have to all agree on these things. So this is giving us the concept of how to make pyramids, how to make structure, how to take over lands, actually take over lands. Not take over lands how people be trying to do it the demonic way. Kill people who was on that land and do all kind of, you don't have to do it that necessarily way. It's ways how you can do it as far as us creating pyramids and creating temples and things of that nature that's orchestrated to the point that it becomes a holy land anyway. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother video. But understanding the gematria of things and understanding how to correlate the 369 so it can manifest into the numbers of the of 1, how we start to layer single bricks and putting it into 2, layer another brick onto it, and then now it becomes, we glue it together, and then we do that overlapping it with 4. You know what I'm saying? But we have to go towards the 3 system, not adding 369. That's why it's always missing. That's why every time y'all try to add 369 into y'all math, y'all only going to get 369. But when you get to the offsprings is always going to be like 1 and 2, you know what I'm saying? 4 and 5, 7 and 8. They always going to be correlated to things that's manifested out of the 369. So that's letting you know that 369 is a substance that you use. So you use the essence of it. So you want to make sure that you're using something 3 times, or you want to make sure that you're doing something 6 times, or you want to make sure that you understand something 9 times. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 9 different ways to understand certain things, right? And if you can't reach 9 different ways to understand something, then you're not reaching new heights of wisdom. And that's something that's hard to do. A lot of times people can only reach 6 different ways of understanding something. Like, you know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind also. And like I said, don't look at it as number. You said, like, you're probably thinking in your head right now, like, hold on, 9 times? What do that mean? You know what I'm saying? That just means practicing things, right? Like, for an example, 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. That's 1. The 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. All right, 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. Boom, that's 1. 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. Boom, that's 2. You see what I'm saying? The 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension. Boom, that's 3. So if you want to get to 9, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't even take that concept of you thinking that you got to count to 1, 2, 3. You could do something. You could do something that you did like a system, like an essence out of something. Say you want to maintain a position or something like that. That's like an essence out of something, right? Then you do that 3 times. That's 9. You see what I'm saying? Because that'll be 6, right? Then once you do that, it's like a system that you preparate yourself for. Like, all right, look, you see the wholeness of something. Boom, that's 3, right? Then you do that wholeness of something. That means you got pure conviction with your thought form, your feeling and emotion, your intent, and you're taking a certain action. You created a ritual or a spell. So that's the wholeness of something. So that's automatically 3. You see what I'm saying? Then you'll do that thing 3 times, right? 3 times, right? Then that's 6. So you're doing one thing. That one thing I told y'all what makes 3, what makes a wholeness. You know what I'm saying? So you're doing that one thing, that's wholeness. But you got to make sure it is a one thing. When you're doing something that lack thought, or you're doing something that lack feeling, or you're doing something that lack your surrounding or your energy, that's not wholeness. So it's not a complete thing. It's not complete. It's not a sum. So it's really not one, right? So you'll have a complete thought, complete feeling, right? And an intent, an action, create a ritual or spell. So say I got a thought, I want $1 million. To say I got a feeling, this is how I feel if I got the $1 million. Now say I got an intent, I got an action, right? Every time I do this represent that thought and that feeling and emotion. Boom, that's a whole idea. That's 3. That's 3 right there. All right. Now, once you do that, practice that 3 times a day. See what I'm saying? So boom. You might got work, you might got kids, you might got I hear my daughter walking up the steps and shit. But yeah, you might got a whole bunch of shit, right? Where it put you into a situation where it might take you off, you might forget to do these things. So make sure you're psychologically psyching yourself up to the point that, all right, this is a ritual I'm doing right now, right? All right, so I need to make sure I pick 3 times out of the day to do that, right? All right, so you do that, you'll do that. So you'll find 3 times to do that out the day, right? Now, you will put that in some type of system, right? I always do this in this place that add to 3, right? That's you add another 3. So boom, you're on a 9 frequency right now. You're on a 9. You get what I'm saying? You're on a 9 frequency. Now, it's whatever you're trying to manifest. It don't matter what it is. You're going to start to have ideas and thought forms and attract people, places, and things that lead you right into that. You just have to know this is what's happening. So I'm telling you, this is how the news channel work, GEMATRIA on y'all. All kind of shit. This is what Tesla was doing by default and shit like that, and where he just learned the doubling of it, but he didn't understand the full triplicity concept of it. He probably would have wouldn't let that homeboy take over his shit. You know what I'm saying? And take credit for his shit if he would have understand the full concept of it. But like I said, boom, it's like an essence of something. So you created a sun down here that's unconceivable, that you can't see because there's not enough energy to it, but it's a sun. Boom, that ritual and spell. That thought form completion, that feeling and emotion completion, and the intent behind it of why you're doing it. So you ain't got to pray and wish for nothing or do a whole bunch of shit of how somebody else telling you about $1 million. This is your version of it. Then boom, that's a wholeness. That's a whole thing. Then you'll do that 3 times. That's you adding 6 because you added 2 versions of 3. That wholeness is 3, and you're picking it and you're doing it 3 times out of the day. So don't get lost in you doing it 3 times, but get lost into it being 3 times is adding on to already a 3-ness. You see what I'm saying? Of that whatever you're doing. Boom, that's you adding a bigger sun. That's a bigger sun. That's governing this now. You doing it 3 times out of the day is governing this 3 individual oneness energy itself. So that's a bigger oneness, a bigger sum energy. Boom. Then once you pick a bigger awareness of surroundings that got something to do with 3, 6, or 9, or an area or an address or something that you're gonna do. You're gonna walk around a block or something like. You see what I'm saying? Like add a bigger emphasis of a 3. And sometimes if you already on that frequency vibration, you will get led into somewhere that's like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whether you end up having a crystal or gem with you or something like that, and be like, all right, every time I'm about to do that spell 3 times, I'm going to make sure I have these 3 crystals and gems on me. Boom, you added 9. Now, whatever that was the original intent that you started to spell in the first place, watch and see don't shit start manifesting. in some way, shape, or form. But you got to have pure conviction, though. You have to always know this is what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. And once you start to do that shit, you will start to see charges. You'll start to see, like I said, once you get there, you will know what to do. I just brought you to the ocean. You will know how to drink from that. You know what I'm saying? Now, you have to know your capabilities and incapabilities, a.k.a. the frequency vibration of the realm that you are in. Right now, we see Donald Trump and what they're doing and shit like that. So you need to know, because everybody be like, oh, I'm about to do $1 million right now. Think about what $1 million is. Dollars, U.S. currency, right? They got a halt on U.S. currency right now. You can't even really do a lot of shit with it. Then a million of U.S. currency right now, right? They got everybody not even working and shit right now. So think about the realm you in at the moment. So think about your capabilities and incapabilities. Think about what's actuality. Therefore, you won't be trying to be lost in your religious aspect of things and thinking you're going to manifest shit because you somewhere sitting Indian style talking about you know what I'm saying? No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, shit have to be actually real. And now, it's still going to manifest. It's just going to manifest as you having to do way more things in order and take way more time and way more years and see portal gates and open it and shit like that you will end up seeing. But just understand, $1 million, that's back to supported by selfishness. You need to be sitting there orchestrating possibilities, not the outcome, a possibility for outcome. And then the greater your possibility is, you might not have to go through grave lengths for that outcome, because you done created such a great energy of the possibility that the outcome will fall right into your lap because your possibility was so bright. You might have, you see what I'm saying? It's deep. But once you put yourself into that circumstance or situation, you're starting to become, you're going to be aware of the offsprings of 369. So everything that participate into the 1-2, the 4-5, the 7-8 is going to be modified via person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation in your life to help you see that, okay, you're the essence of whatever you're manifesting. You're the asset, not the liability. You're the essence of whatever that you're manifesting. And it's going to come rapidly, whatever that your intent was on. So keep that in mind also. So this shit is motherfucking deep when we start to talk about triplicities and things of that nature, and understanding how to derive things and how to manifest things as far as your intent, and how to, it's like a psyche thing. Like, people can't help but to ride the frequency vibration. So when you see Trump manifesting and shit like that, a lot of times he can't help it. You know what I'm saying? Just based upon what frequency vibrations people be riding. And once you're riding a certain frequency vibration, you attract everything in that field. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind also. So you want to make sure you're in the right field also when you're in these things, when you're attracting. You don't want to be lost in no desires. You want to be lost into possibilities, not outcomes. Possibilities, not outcomes. For an example, you don't want to get lost in, I want to manifest $1 million. You want to get lost in, how can I make it possible that I can see $1 million? Then you'll start seeing opportunities. You'll start seeing your gifts and talents and shit like that. If you start to think like, oh, nah, I just want to manifest $1 million, you're going to start to see a bunch of resistance and shit that you're incapable of, aka more situations of you needing $1 million and you may not being able to get it. Because you're going to be attracting all kind of other people get $1 million, all kind of ways why you can't get $1 million, all kind of ways why it's hard for you to reach that goal and things of that nature, to the point that it becomes just a want. You keep manifesting that want. And the want is a substance in itself. You see what I'm saying? 369 help you understand things, the essence of something itself. So you don't get lost into the essence of something itself. Then once you get lost into the essence of something itself, you start to play out the characteristics of 1-2, being too much of an individual, or being too relatable. The 4-5, thinking too much about shit, or being influenced and reacting too much about shit, or thinking you need to feel too much about things, or the 7 or the 8. You know what I'm saying? Getting lost into scattered mindedness and not receiving the right messages, or spending a lot of time on the wrong things. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. And then you miss the whole shift of the 369 in general, aka you're lost in whatever you have already created from your own version of 369. You see what I'm saying? So, flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.